Yeah, good morning, friends. Today we will discuss okay. So in the last classes, we are completed Unit 3 and Unit 4. Sorry, Unit 5. So in the Unit 3, low power risk. So we have studied the low power risk MSP 430 block diagram, features, architectures. That is a 2XX second generation and variants of MSP 430 family. That is second generation, fourth generation, fifth generation. Variants means comparison. Comparison between second generation, fourth generation, fifth generation families and its applications. And after that, we are studied about the fifth generation block diagram, addressing modes, instruction set, memory address space. Memory address space means memory organization and on-chip peripherals. On-chip peripherals means so all analog and digital peripherals. So that means whatever the timers, power management, RAMs, registers, whatever we are studied, other than the architecture parts. Those architecture parts are called as on-chip peripherals. Okay, so please understand on-chip peripherals means so the whatever the architecture parameter architecture units are available, those architecture units are called as on-chip peripherals. And also we are studied about register sets and also a sample embedded system on MSP microcontroller. So that means is a simple weighing machine is a example for embedded system. Okay, that is your third unit. So after that, we are studied up to fifth unit, serial communication basics. That is a serial communication, parallel communication, and synchronous, asynchronous, and what are the communication communication uh, modules are available to transmit the data. That is a simplex, half duplex, full duplex. Then we are studied about the UART, USB, SPI, I2 protocols. So that is, and also we are studied about the SPI protocols in USI and USCI. Okay, then implementing and programming is not done. Okay, so only one topic is pending, that is a programming. Okay, then interfacing of these devices means is a block diagrams of UART, I2C, SPI, and external devices means whatever the we are studying USB. Okay, so those are the external devices and also implementing Wi-Fi using the CC3100. Okay, then that is the fifth unit. So please concentrate on third unit and fifth unit compared to fourth unit because these two units are very easy compared to the fourth unit. In the fourth unit, we are studied about pull down resistors, interrupts. Interrupt programming is not there. Programming is not there. So that means we'll cover later. Okay. Then watchdog timer, system clock, low power modes. That is active mode versus standby current consumptions. So up to this, we are studied in MSP 430. Today we studied about FRAM and flash for low power and reliability and timers. Timers means timer A and timer B and DMA using DMA, data transfer using DMA. Okay, so now we'll go to the one by one. So let first we start with FRAM. So FRAM means ferroelectric RAM. Generally, RAMs are two types. RAMs are two types. Random access memories are two types. That is a DRAM and SRAM. DRAM means dynamic RAM. SRAM means static RAM. So static means they are fabricated with the capacitors. But here DRAMs are with fabricated with the capacitors, because the capacitors are discharging. That's why we need the dynamic. Okay, so that is the user. But here the FRAMs, the fabrication is same as DRAM, that consists of a capacitor and a MOSFET. Capacitor and a MOSFET. This is called as a one cell. Cell means which can be stored one bit. Which can be stored one bit. And here the capacitor means two parallel plates. In between two parallel plates, a dielectric material will be available. So whereas here FRAM, in place of dielectric material, we are using a ferroelectric layer as a dielectric material. Okay, so that is so FRAM is a non-volatile memory. Generally, DRAM is a volatile. Volatile means if power off, the data will be erased. But FRAM is a non-volatile memory because they are fabricated a ferroelectric material instead of dielectric material. So it consists of one transistor and one variable ferroelectric capacitor. Okay, then FRAM uses ferroelectric as a capacitor for storing the data. So information stored in FRAM cell corresponding to state of polarization, that means charging of a ferroelectric crystal that can hold its contents even after power source is removed. So that means if power off, the data will be available in the form of polarization. Okay, so FRAM is called as a non-volatile memory. And also the energy is required to polarizing, that means charging, is very low comparing to the flash memory. That's why FRAM is mainly used for low power storage device. Okay, and in writes into the FRAM, it requires low voltage and very little current is needed to change the data. And whereas flash, high voltages are required. For example, FRAM requires very low voltage, that is 1.5 volts, whereas a flash RAM is required 10 to 14 volts. Okay, that is a very high voltage compared to the flash. Okay, then come to the flash. So in this flash memory, so flash means flash memory, we are mainly used for EEPROMs. EEPROMs means electrically erasable, programmable, read-only memory. Read-only memory. So EEPROMs are mainly used as a flash memory. So then this flash memory is fabricated by using a MOSFET. By using MOSFET. In generally, the MOSFET consists of only one gate in between source and drain. But whereas here two gates are available, so that you have to identify. These two gates are called as a floating gate and control gate. So if the power off, the data will be available in floating gate. That's why these MOSFETs is also called as a non-volatile memories. Okay, same thing I'm explained here. Okay, so the information stored in a array of floating gate transistor called as a cells. Each of cell can store only one bit of information at a time. The design of each memory cell is similar to the MOSFET. The only difference is it has a two gates. One gate is called as a control gate and another gate is called as a floating gate. Okay, the floating gate made with conductive material or non-conductive material. If conductive material, we are going to use a polysilicon, and these two gates are separated by an thin oxide layer. Okay, so and as usually this flash memory requires more power, that is 10 to 14 volts are required. Okay, so that's why this is the it requires more memory is required, sorry, more power is required for the flash memory compared to the FRAM. And also the flash memory the speed is, that means writes the data into the flash memory, is very low compared to the FRAM. So FRAM is very fast compared to the flash memory. These are the comparison between a flash memory and FRAM. Okay, then go to the timers. So generally already we are studied about two timers are available, mainly timer A and timer B. Timer A, timer A, again we have different timers are available. TA0, TA1, TA2. Each timer again we have different CC registers, that is a capture compare register, 7cc, 5cc, 7cc we are studied in the architecture. Okay, so please keep it in mind. Based on that, now I'm going to discuss about the timer A. Okay, let timer A is a consists of two blocks. So before going to this architecture, let overall view what is that timer A and capture and compare channels. Okay, that timer A block and capture compare block. What are the blocks are available in the timer block? Okay, so that is the core, that is the main based a 16-bit register TAR. TAR means timer A register can choose sources for clock and frequency divisions. The clocks are different clocks are available, and here the timer block has no output. No output, you have to observe, there is no output. It consists of only a flag. Timer A flag, interrupt flag is available. Okay, that is a timer block. And come to the capture and compare. The capture, so capture and compare, they have two types. The capture, input recorded through TAR, triggered by TACCRN. That is a timer A capture compare register. And in the capture, in the compare, TAR is compared with TACCR register. TACCR register, that is a 102, don't bother about that. Okay, so that is a T compare. And request and interrupt, so CC, that is a interrupt is available. And sample and interrupt at a compare event. Sample, that is a sample means a synchronization is available. Synchronization CC interrupt is available. Okay, these are the overview of a timer U. How this will be working? The timer A, let the timer A consists of mainly TAR register, that is a timer A register. This is a 16-bit register. This 16-bit register, this is a 16-bit register. It is a 16-bit register. This 16-bit register is used to count the number of clock pulses. If the count is based on the clocks, so we have different clocks are available. Those clocks are TA clock, timer A clock, auxiliary clock, SM clock, subsystem, master clock, and IN clock. IN means inverter clock. Inverter clock. These clocks are divided with 1, 2, 4, 8, depending on the frequency. Depending on the frequency. If suppose the count is reaches to maximum, the maximum is 16 bits. 16 bits means 4 digits. That means count will be 4 zeros to starting from 4 zeros to ending at 4 Fs. F, 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 F. 4 Fs. So the counting is starting from 4 zeros then 0001, 0002, 3, 4, like that, up to maximum will reaches to F, 4Fs. So whenever reaches to maximum, that is 4Fs, after that again the TAR received one more pulse. At that time the TAR reaches to 0, reaches to 0. That means FFFFF to again reaches return to 0. That means at that time the interrupt will be generated. That interrupt is called as a timer A IFG. Timer A interrupt flag. Interrupt flag. Okay. So then come to the capture and compare. Capture. Let's come to the capture. So capture means whatever the value that count is available in TAR, that will be copied into TACCR register. That is called as a capturing. Capturing means receiving. Receiving from TAR. That value will be sended out for some other purposes. At that time you can use different capturing inputs. That those capturing inputs are CCI 1A capture compare input 1A 1B ground VCC. Okay, then come to the compare mode. In the compare mode, we have comparing TACCR value with TAR value. So that means if you want to generate a signal up to the value which is available up to TACCR. So the value is available at TACCR. For example, I am taking 1000. So now you have to start a timer. The count will be started from 0 in TAR. So count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to compared up to max. Here the value is 1000. For example, I am taking 1000. So whenever you have to reach us to 1000 count, after that that compared output is sended to output mode. That output mode is sended the data output for different purposes. Okay, so once you have to reach us to 1000 value, again that will be start from 0. Okay, so at that time that flag will be generated. Okay, that is a time. And also here CC interrupt flag, that is a after comparing will get the capture compare in interrupt flag will be generated. And SCC means a synchronization. So for timers, so for using for synchronization communication, this timer is also used. At the time you can use as a synchronization. CC, that is a capture compare input is used. Okay, that is a timer A register. So timer A operation. Okay, then we'll go to the next one. This is the features of timer A. So what are the features are available in the timer A? So we are already studied. In the timer A, it consists of a 16-bit timer or counter, because that is a counts the number of clock pulses operated in asynchronous mode. Okay, then it consists of a selectable, a configurable, a clock sources, because that you can select any clock pulses, and configurable, that means we can programmed, you can use as a programming, you can select any clock sources. Okay, that is a selectable and configurable. Then timer A has up to a 7 configurable CC register depending upon timers. Okay, don't bother about that 7. Okay, some timers consists of 5 CC registers are available. Okay, then this timer also consists of interrupt vector register. That is that interrupt vector register to handle these timer interrupts. Okay. So TAR-IFG we are already studied. Okay, that is a interrupt timer interrupts. Okay, then 16-bit timer register TAR either incremented or decremented using the clock signals. So that will be incrementing or decrementing or selected by using the modes. Okay, then TAR register can read or write with the clock pulses. These clock pulses are reset, means stop, by using TACLR bits, clear bits, TACLR bits, and operating mode. That is a timer A is operating modes are selected by using MC mode control bits, and this timer A operation will be controlled by using timer A control register. The timer A control register is a 16-bit register. Okay, so please, so in here they are asking in the last semester what are the two registers are available in the timers. Okay, so that is we are going to study. Okay, let then come to the 16-bit timer A control register. Timer A control register. So this control register is used to controlling the operation of timer A. Okay, let is a 16-bit. So here the 10-bit to 15 bits are reserved for timer B. Okay, so then this 8-bit and 9th bit is used for timer X means anyone. Timer clock sources because timer A clock, SM clock, inverter clock. And next one, ID means input dividers. 2 bits are used for input divider. That is the sixth and seventh bits are used for input dividers. That means you divided by 1, divided by 2, divided by 4, divided by 8. And MC, already we have studied. MC mode means mode control. That means by using these bits, 4th and 5th bits are used for to selecting the modes. How many modes are there? 4 modes are operated. So please observe. So what are the modes? The timer A will be operated in 4 modes. What are that modes? The stop mode, up mode, a continuous mode, up or down mode. What are that mode? We'll study later. Okay. Then TX clear. Second bit is used for TX clear. That means a timer clear bit. If that is equals to 1, the timer will be stopped. Then if I have 0, the timer will be a continuously clock will be generating. Similarly, that is a timer IE means interrupt enable. So interrupts are accepting or not. So based on this one, if that is equals to 1, interrupts are accepted. If this is equals to 0, interrupts are not accepted. Then timer IFG. So interrupt is pending or not. So servicing is providing or not. Okay, so sir, if that is equals to 1, interrupt is pending. If 0, no interrupts are pending. Okay, this is a 16-bit register of a timer A control register. Okay, let's go to the next register. What is that called as? TACC or CCTL. TL means control. So timer A, yes, timer A capture, compare, control register. It is also a 16-bit register. 16-bit register. So don't bother about that RW. Don't write in examinations. RWs don't write. Okay. So in this only the boxes, whatever the values are available, whatever the functions are available, those functions you have to write. So don't write RW bracket 0, Okay, so here also. Okay, let's come to the 14 and 15 bits. 14 and 15 bits are used for capture mode. That means 00, no capturing. So 01, capturing on rising edge. Rising edge means positive edge triggering, and 10, negative edge triggering. That is a falling edge. Then 11 means both positive edge and negative edge, or rising edge, falling edge. Both are same. Okay. Then CCIS means capture compare input selection. That means capture compare input A, input B, ground, and VCC. Okay. Then SCS means synchronize capture source. Means we have a two modes, two capturing modes. One is a asynchronous capturing and another is called as a synchronous capturing. Okay. Then SCCI, that means synchronous capture compare input, for is used for communication, for synchronization communication. Okay, bit 9 is not used, don't care condition. Then bit 8 is used for capture. CAP means a compare or capture will be selecting. That 0, a compare will be selected. 1 means a compare will be selected. Okay, compare, and 1 means a capture mode is selected. Then that is a out mode. Okay, okay. Then what are the out modes? We'll see out modes. So we have 7 3 bits, that means 8 bits are used to selecting out modes. 00 out bit value, whatever the value, that will value will be ascended, and 01 is all will be set, and 010, okay, that will be used for toggle. Toggle means is opposite or reset, and 011 you can use set or reset, and 100 toggle, and 101 reset. 110 is a toggle or set. 111 is used as a set or reset. And CCIE, IE means interrupt enable. Interrupt is away, you have to produce or not, or accepting or not. If 0, not accepting. Okay, if 1, and interrupts are accepting. CCI, capture compare input. Okay, then out means that bit is used for either low or high. That means that is a low voltage or high voltage. Okay, then COV is a capture overflow. That overflow will be occur after maximum value to 0. Maximum value to 0. That means 0. Now no capture overflow. 1, a capture overflow. Okay. Then CCIFG means capture compare interrupt flag. If 0, no interrupt is pending. 1 means interrupt is pending. These are the two registers. One is the timer A control register, and number 2 is a timer A CC control register. Okay, so please note that both are 16-bit registers. Okay, then come to the timer A modes. So we are already studied 4 modes are studied. Okay, so what are the 4 modes? That means 00, a stop mode, 00, a stop mode. Okay, then up 01 up mode, then 10 a continuous mode, and 11 up or down mode. Okay, so what is the stop mode? Stop mode means, this stop means the timer will be stopped. At that time you have to draw a graph. Okay, so at the time TAR, TAR, okay, TAR equal to equal to 0, means that is a county 0. At that time the graph is parallel to x-axis, same and the x-axis. Okay, that is the, that is, then TAR, x-axis is a, y-axis is a TAR, TAR, and y-axis is a time. X-axis is a time. Okay, so this is the stop mode. Stop mode, TR count is equals to 0. TR count is equals to 0. Okay, then up mode. Up mode. Up mode means, please observe. Okay, up mode means the TR count is increases up to the maximum value which is available in timer A CCR register, not FF. The value which is available CCR register. If you are reaches to CCR register maximum value, after that, that count will be suddenly decreases to 0. Suddenly decreases to 0 in TR register. Again, the count will be increases 1, 2, 3 up to the maximum value which is available in the TACCR. Okay, that is called as a up mode. Next, come to the a continuous mode. In the continuous mode means that TR counts the pulses from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to a maximum value. But previously up to TACCR capture register. But here continuous mode, the value is up to the maximum value is 4Fs. 0x means is a hexadecimal indication. Okay, 0x is representation of hexadecimal. That is a 4Fs is reaches to 4Fs. After 4Fs, the timer will be suddenly go to 0. Suddenly is reaches to 0. Again, the count is again increases to up to maximum value FF. That is called as a continuous mode. And then come to the up and down. That means both. That means that is the same as up mode, and down means decreasing up to 0. But previously suddenly decreases to 0. Maximum value after that 0. But here that after reaches to maximum value in a TACCR register, after that is decreasing one by one and reaches to 0. Again that will be increasing, again decreasing. So this up to these two diagrams are look like is a sawtooth waveforms, and last one up and down waveform will look like a triangular. Okay, that is the four modes are available in the timer A. Right, timer B. Okay, so now you got an idea. So whatever the diagram is available in timer A, in timer B is also same diagram. Okay, the notations will be changes. You have to observe. In previously we have TAR, but here TBR, and similarly here also. Previously TACCL. Okay, okay. Here TBCC control. Okay, and two bufferings. Okay, two values are buffering. Okay, that you have to study here. Okay, the timer B have a whatever the operation is same whatever we are studied in the timer A. In addition to that, we have a extra features are available. Those features are called, okay, that is a capture compare register consists of a double buffered when comparing two events. Okay, this is a two buffers. You have to update mode. Update mode means a single buffering or double buffering. Okay, that is a two buffering systems are available. Okay, and it is also used for a grouping. Okay, then the length of the TBR register, because we have a 16-bit register are available, but here we can use an 8-bit or 10-bit or 12-bit or 16 bits. You can use any size. You can use 8-bit register or it's 10-bit register or 12-bit register or 16-bit register. But previously we have only 16-bit register, but here we can use any size of the bit register. Okay, then This is controlled by, again, the control bits, which is called as CNTL bits in timer B control register, and allows a range of periods to select for the continuous modes. Okay, so continuous modes means up compared up to a certain value, those will be selected different values. Okay, then the SCCI bit is not available, whereas in timer A is available. But here, SSCI, that means synchronization, capture, compare input is not available, which means that the sampling mode is not possible. This means that timer B is less suitable for receiving a synchronous signals, but timer A is available. In this case, then timer B is likely to have a dedicated module because an extra module is required for a communication. Okay, then all timer B outputs can be put into a high impedance state by using high external signal, applied at timer B out H input. This can be done in timer A using a software, Okay, but here by using external, we can put the high pin. Okay, then this timer B is also used for to generating PWM, is a pulse width modulation generation. Okay, that is a your timers. So next class we'll study DMA. DMA means direct memory accessing without CPU. How the memory will be accessing. Okay, that is it. Thank you.